Now let's jump into reporting services, and in this video that I've entitled Reporting Services Tour, I just want to get you acclimated into reporting services and where you're headed. So let's open Reporting Services Report Designer and kind of take a look at it. I will click on Start and go to All Programs, and you will notice that on this machine I have installed SQL Server 2008, and one of the choices under 2008 that pops out on the menu is the SQL Server Business Intelligence Development Studio. Now we will talk about this a little later in the course, because I'm going to do a video on installing SQL Server and installing reporting services and show you how to make all that happen. Now, if I open the Business Intelligence Development Studio, this is what you will always do to get to the Report Designer. Now that's the full-featured, full-blown report development tool, and that's what we're going to use. And I'll click on this, and you're going to notice something maybe kind of surprising. It opened up Visual Studio 2008. Now this is something that's a little different in this version, and that is not that we're in the Visual Studio environment, but I did not have to have Visual Studio on this machine. It's part of the Business Intelligence Development neighborhood, and this thing is automatically there, and so I can just simply use it. Now I've got a report project out here, and I'll open that so that we can take a look at some of the features. Now if you're new to Visual Studio, this is going to look somewhat intimidating. If you're not new, if you have used Visual Studio before, you're going to feel right at home, and you're going to have kind of a jump start on using this thing. Now I just want to, for those of you who are new to Visual Studio, show you a couple of things, and then we'll actually go into a little bit more depth with this later. But basically what's happening with reporting services is we work in this environment in a Report Designer tool, and over here in Solution Explorer we can set up multiple reports. We can right click on a report and do View Code, choose View Code, and we can see the underlying code behind our report. And notice everything gets tabbed up here. And this is my actual report design, and I can use tools just like anywhere else in Visual Studio, and I can drag a table on and let it go, and now I'm ready to work in this environment. I have a preview tab that I can preview what my report's going to look like, and just like everything else in Visual Studio, there's a lot of customization that I can go through. If I go to the View tab and come down to Toolbars, you will notice how many toolbars I have that I can choose to put on here. Okay, I also have Server Explorer, so I can connect to data sources and take a look at them and see what's inside them. And then I have my toolbar. Now there's a lot going on. There are a few changes. If you've worked with reporting services in the past in the Visual Studio 2005 environment, you're going to notice that there are some enhancements, and right away the row and column groups are down here at the bottom, and it's much easier to work in this environment. So again, if you're totally new to Visual Studio, we're going to go through some videos a little bit later on in the course and show you how to use some of these features and kind of give you more of a hands-on. But for this, I just wanted you to see what happens with reporting services. Now if you already have Visual Studio loaded on your machine, then Visual Studio, the full version, will open up, and you will now see that Business Intelligence Development tool in your list of like VB and C# and so forth. So as you work through this, you'll get a lot more comfortable with it, and by the time we get to the end of this course, you're going to be very comfortable in this environment, because we're just going to do so much stuff here. So anyway, this is all I wanted you to see, the environment you're going to work in with Report Designer. And in the next video, we're actually going to build a report and talk about some of the things that has to happen, because I just kind of want you to see where we're headed, and then we'll talk architecture so that you understand how it's working under the hood. And then we're going to go step by step, build a report, and show you some of the options, little tips and tricks and things that you can use.